Well, folks, welcome to the Cucumber New Contributors Ensemble. I'm Matt Wynne in Nelson, BC, and this week I'm on my own. Various members of our ensemble are busy with other commitments this week, but I thought I would continue to run the session. So why am I here? In 2017, GitHub surveyed over 10,000 open source contributors, and just 3% of them were women. And we believe that open source communities will be more vibrant, resilient, and effective if they include everyone. Open source provides huge benefits to people who participate, and we want those benefits to be available to all. But people need a place to start. So we hold this space each week for anyone who is new to contributing to open source, especially for people from groups who have historically been underrepresented in open source communities. And if you'd like to participate, please reach out to me, Matt Wynne, on Twitter, or to Cucumber BDD on Twitter, and we can start the process of getting you into the invites. Our goal is to provide a fun and welcoming environment where everyone can learn how to contribute to open source. We use an ensemble programming format, and as we do that, we follow these principles: safety over comfort. We aim for an environment where everyone can bring their whole self and express their needs fully, even if that isn't always comfortable. Equity over efficiency. We're here to give space to people who've traditionally been excluded from open source, even if that means going a little slower sometimes. And exploration over perfection. We're here to learn and always discovering better ways to do things. We embrace experimentation and accept that what we do can never be perfect. If you'd like to join us, you'd be very welcome, so please reach out. Okay, well, what we've been working on these past few weeks is this project here is the GitHub action to retire inactive contributors. So we have a permissive commit bit policy on the Cucumber organization, which means that if you make a pull request and it's merged, you're automatically added to the committers team in GitHub, which gives you push rights to the main branches of most of the Cucumber repos. So you can start to merge other people's pull requests. And we've accrued about 300 people in that team over the years, and many of them are no longer actively contributing, so that presents a little bit of a security risk. So we've got a little project here to write a GitHub action that we can run periodically on a schedule that will go through that list, check for people who haven't contributed for over a year, and retire them into a different team. And so we've been building out that project using a Cucumber feature to describe how it behaves, and we're currently working on implementing the class which is going to actually talk to GitHub to interact with GitHub's API to make those movements to check who's in which group, which team, and move them between teams. I was actually away last week, and as I picked up the code, I noticed that we've added ESLint and Prettier, which is great. And so I was reading that commit, and one thing I noticed is that it seems like as we added that commit, we lost a couple of our original test running scripts. So maybe this was started from a slightly older version of the code. I'm not sure. So we've got these two new ones, lint and format, which is great. But we've this old probot one, because this previously wasn't a GitHub action, it was a probot robot. That's crept back in, and also we've got these older ones, test, which just runs Cucumber, and test wit, which runs Cucumber again, just with a whip tag on it. But what we're missing is these ones for running unit tests. So we've got a little bit more maturity on those, and that's slipped away. So I'm going to just put that in a pull request, just so everybody's notified. So what I'm going to start by doing is, and I have got the Twitch stream open, I'm going to make sure I'm watching the Twitch stream in case anybody's there, because if you'd like to join me, ping me on Twitch. and I'd be happy to have some other people to pair or mob with. Where is my Twitch window? Is it this one? There it is. Okay. So, yeah, so I'm going to start by, well, I'm going to open VS Code actually, so I'm going to start. And yeah, I've just made a branch off of the main branch, which is where I'm going to put my proposed changes, and I'm going to just go back to the GitHub window and copy those lines, paste them in here, and then remove these older ones. So we don't need start at all, we don't need test because we've got a new version of it, and we don't want test whip because it's moved to being called test acceptance whip. Just oh, let's see if Pretty can do it. Nope. Okay, well, I'll have a look at that in a minute. So let's check out these new things, see if they still work. npm run lint. Oops, maybe it'll help if I spell it correctly. Yep. Oh, okay, so maybe I need to do a bit of npm install. Still can't spell lint. Cool. Okay, so it's picked up some things it doesn't like. And great. And has that made any diffs? No, it's not. Okay, so it looks like the ESLint has picked up some problems that we will need to fix if we want to have this as part of our CI build. We don't have a CI run at the moment, but at least we have that facility now to check for those failures. So I'm going to just commit this. Actually, you know, I'm going to do it as two separate changes, I think. So if I do git add -p, will it give me enough fidelity? No, it won't. Because I'd really like to remove the probot one in one move and then rearrange the test ones in another, but I guess I'm not going to try and be that perfect. So let's just commit as we are. And I'm just going to link to that commit. So this is called. So now I'm going to push that branch, and I'm going to use the GH tool. This is brilliant, this tool. GH PR for pull request, create, and I'm going to do it on the web. So I've pushed a branch, I run this tool, and now I can write my pull request in the browser. Hey, Blaise is here.
All right. I ended up having to get a new Mac yesterday.
Is Blaise really here?
This one's about to give up the ghost. Can you hear me okay?
I cannot hear him. Hi, Blaise. Now I can see you, but I still can't hear you. Is that me or you? I think
Now I
my
think you
headphones might have gone to
should be able
sleep
to hear
actually
me.
because there was no noise coming out of them, so it could be me. 1 second. I heard a sort of a silent sound coming out of them. Yeah, I think they have gone to sleep, so let me turn them back on again.
Okay. I'll use this for
Yes, I can hear you, Blaise. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Yes.
Good. Thanks for joining.
My pleasure, absolutely.
I was flying solo there, talking to myself.
So, yeah, I have a little bit of an overlap. So I'm sort of kind of managing conflicting schedules. The exciting thing, though, is that it looks like I'm actually going to be using Cucumber at work.
Oh, cool. We're live
Uh,
on the stream already, Blaise, just so you know.
oh,
Before you go
fantastic.
and divulge any company secrets.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. But yeah, so looks like we'll be using Cucumber at the office.
Mm,
And I was just helping some folks set up test automation.
fantastic.
So, which is really super, super interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, it's I think. Oh, actually, I know what I ought to do. My son will be very, very grateful if I let him use this machine, and I will switch to the other one. New
Okie
Mac
dokie.
here.
I'm going to just get you the live share link.
And then yeah, perfect. And then let me let's go. Let's see if this will work.
I'll share my screen as well because I'm in the middle of doing something in a browser which we won't see on the live share.
979 97925.
Oops. Don't want to see Dan right now. What I want to see is Blaise. Where have you gone, Blaise? You're over there. Here's Blaise, everyone.
Yep. 60620. Okay. I'm going to be joining from another second here. Okay. 9799. Okay, that's me. So I'm going to hang up here.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll be right. Yeah, no. Let me give this guy his workstation. Okay, Gilberto, you have the machine now. All right, good. Oh, I might need to ask you to reshare that link. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you need another Slack message.
That's right. It's in Slack.
Yeah. It is.
Yep. No worries. I will. And this is for VS Code, right? Yeah.
It is, yeah. We've sort of drifted back to using VS Code.
Did you see what we did the last time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I
Yeah,
saw
and I
that
think
ESLint's been added.
Oh.
And I saw that there's a one new commit in the branch that we were working on with the OctoKit adapter.
Oh, that's right. That's the one that Kate and I did. Wow, that's amazing. Is that possible?
What?
That we would have done so much while you were gone?
Well, I mean, it seems like it. Yeah. So there was no retro there that I could see in the Miro board. Is that right?
That I think is right. There was just two of us.
Right.
Which is not an excuse. I meant to write it up in the retro. So I took some notes. But basically, yeah.
Is there anything you want to talk about, like any context you want to kind of bring me up to speed with before we start?
No, I thought it was very helpful actually. It seemed like it was very easy to pick up where we left off.
Okay.
Which was really quite nice. And even though Marja was not that familiar with the project, and I was not that familiar with TypeScript, but between the two of us, we were able to figure things out.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my node setup was really messed up, so we probably spent a good 10 minutes getting my workstation with all the right dependencies in order.
So are you into the VS Code? I don't see you in there yet.
No. Let's see here.
Your camera's also not on. I don't know if you.
Oh,
if that's deliberate.
Thanks. There we go. Absent my wonderful background video, but okay. So the code. I have to install Slack.
Oh, do you want me to ping it to you in a different medium?
This machine is pretty, let's see. Do you want to pause the recording and you can just drop it in this chat window?
Well, I can put it in the Zoom chat anyway. I don't need to pause the recording. I can just make sure the Zoom window is off screen. Where is the chat window?
Oh, when you're sharing screens, it's in a funny place. It's like adjacent to the little palette.
Oops, that's
probably at the top of your screen.
This one. There you go.
This will be very exciting because please check developer tools. How very strange. Okay. This is a brand new machine, and I wonder. Oh, does it not like Safari?
Does what not like Safari?
The VS Code.
Not that I'm aware of.
Player? Okay. Okay. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Please check developer tools. All right, let's try this other thing then. How about, I'll try a different browser. Visual Studio Code, fatal error. How curious. Fatal error, please check developer tools. Do you want me to show you the error I get?
Yeah, maybe you need to. Is it a Mac?
It's a Mac.
Yeah, share your screen. Yeah, go for it.
So let's see. Oh, here we go. Oh, I wonder if it's a security thing.
Do you need me to stop sharing so you can share?
No. What I need to do is I need to allow my. I need to allow Zoom to access my screen, but that should work. And then it's going to, let's see here, quit and reopen. I don't want that to happen just yet. So let's go to, okay, I guess I might have to quit and reopen.
Well, if anybody's watching, while we wait for Blaise, I'm just making some comments on the work that's been going on while I wasn't paying attention. So we've made some progress and added ESLint, but it looks like we still have some failures from ESLint. So if we actually kind of run it in a regular CI job or as part of our npm test, it would fail. So I'm just adding a comment to see whether we want to fix that as part of this, the scope of this ticket to add ESLint.
All right, so basically what I've got is this thing here, vscode.dev. http prod.liveshare. Let's go join. Okay. I'll be damned.
I'm going to just show Blaise's screen on the...
Oh, is it not showing you?
I haven't got it on the right monitor. Just a sec.
Oh, okay.
Just need to do some Zoom shenanigans. Oh, come on, Zoom. Oh, I know. Oh, yeah, there we go. Right. Yeah, great. Okay, so it's taking you to Visual Studio Code. Wow. Yeah, go and do that. So I guess it means you haven't installed developer tools on this Mac, and it can't. What do you see in the console out of interest on the browser?
Oh, it says. That's right. Let's see here. Console. Name not resolved. VS Code. So let's.
Who knows?
Prod.live.
But I wonder if. Do you have VS Code installed locally?
I do not.
Yet? So I wonder if we should do let's.
I can totally install VS Code.
Turn this session into setting up a new developer machine for open source. Let's do that.
Oh, sure. That sounds like a great idea.
So
this is a brand new machine.
Right. So the first thing I think the first thing you want is Homebrew. That's what I would do. So I would Google for Homebrew, and then we'll follow the installation instructions and shave yaks from there. Let's do
We actually have, so I do have Homebrew, but I'm happy to do that for the purposes of the...
Oh, no, if you've done it, that's great.
I've done it.
So let's try installing VS Code locally and see where we go from there.
Okay.
So I think it's just brew install VS Code. I'm not sure. I can Google that myself.
Brew install. I can make this larger. So basically, with Homebrew, command line apps, you just do a brew install.
It is Cask. It is
and then a cask
hyphen studio hyphen code.
Okay. So. Yeah, so basically the GUI native apps you install with the cask. So it's brew install dash dash cask. And then the command line apps are just brew install and then the package name.
Why is that? Why do you have to add the dash dash cask for GUI apps? Do you know?
Well, it used to be that cask was like a separate plugin altogether.
Yeah.
And it's essentially handles, because it's a different, the Mac native packaging are disk images.
Yeah.
And there's like extra stuff that's different from a command line. The command line packages are mostly like just regular POSIX binaries, whereas the Mac installations are, zip file. I don't really know. I mean, I just know that the internal structure of the files are different, and that cask used to be a separate command altogether. Brew cask install.
Yeah, I never really understood the difference.
But yeah, I didn't either for the longest time. And then someone pointed out that and I also have to do Git.
So VS Code has been successfully installed.
Yes. I can try and see if that makes a difference now. Yeah.
I wonder if it's developer tools in the browser. I wonder if
yes, I think that's what I think they're saying that you should check. I didn't get that at first, but I think it is actually developer tools in the browser.
So is that in?
But
why is it called Vivaldi?
Oh, Vivaldi is essentially it's a fork of Chromium. That's similar, it's the same Chromium code, but it's without all the ads and the tracking.
I thought you said Safari, but this is
something else. I'll show you. Safari has a similar problem.
Okay, right. So you're trying both browsers, yeah.
It's interesting that I get literally exactly the same message.
Let me try Googling this as well.
Settings for VSCode.dev. Use reader when available. Enable content blockers. Maybe I'll do this. Yep. I can launch Visual Studio now.
As a thick client GUI.
Yeah.
Right.
In other words, I can just say code.
Well, so maybe you can just use that. You probably don't want to open your whole home directory, do you?
Right.
But actually, it may not matter, because if you add the live share plugin,
right, it should take, yeah. He was asking me for permissions to a bunch of different folders,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll just make it smaller, just one folder there.
So yeah,
And
if you add the live share plugin to this,
right, so this is going back to what do you need as an open source contributor?
yeah.
Okay. So I ought to be able to, let's see.
So you click on that join one and try pasting the link. Do you still have it?
Yeah, I'll paste it in.
You need to sign in. Maybe you need to do that. I would do that sign in thing. You know, see the bottom down the bottom right. Do your GitHub.
Oh God.
GitHub account.
Yeah. This will be interesting. Mm, doesn't work. Um,
No, you're Blaise P on GitHub, aren't you?
that didn't work. How about let's try this one.
Yeah, you're definitely Blaise P.
Yeah.
Oh, Blaise has forgotten his GitHub password.
I know this is really.
Well, maybe we can try anonymous for now.
Oh, that's true. I'll try anonymous. Oops.
Try the whole join dance again. That's it. Press enter. What's it doing at my end? Not seeing any notifications yet here.
Oh, that was a very nice UX. It remembered the URL. Basically, it wants me to type the name before I enter the URL. So
yep,
having entered,
it looks like it's working. Yep, here we go. Accept, read, write.
That's great.
So you should be in.
Amazing. I am.
Great. Right. Do you want to stop screen? Oh, you can keep screen
Well,
sharing.
yes, yes, I'll stop screen.
Oh, that's maybe a bit confusing because.
Yeah, go ahead. You go.
Shall I bother sharing my screen or not? Maybe I won't for now, and then if we need it, I will.
Okay.
Well, can you see the terminal?
Yes.
So, kind of the first thing I was thinking about is, we've had this change on the main branch to add ESLint.
Yes.
But we don't have that change in our feature branch, the one where we're working on the OctoKit adapter. So we should probably do the work of merging those commits across. And then I also thought that maybe it'd be helpful to have a draft pull request so we can see the changes that are happening in that branch, because it's not actually visible on GitHub at the moment.
Right. Good point.
What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So which should we do first? Why don't we try and get it up on the surface first?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to drive to make the new pull request?
Let's see. Can I do that though, since I don't have my Git account?
Oh, that's true.
Worked
Okay,
out.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll share screen.
Okay.
I'm going to share this desktop so you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to that branch. And then I'm going to use GHPR create.
Oh, look at
check
you.
The help.
Fancy GitHub
so
CLI.
I can say -- draft. And I'm also going to create it via the web. So I'm going to open up the... Oh, okay, right. So I get to choose draft when we're in the web. So this will open up a browser.
Oh, how cool.
Creating a pull request for this branch. I love GH. It's so good.
I've been reluctant to... I'm afraid that I'll lose my... hard-won Git skills.
Oh, but it doesn't take away Git features. What it does is it gives you the ability to do many of the things that you would otherwise have to do with a mouse in the GitHub user interface in a browser via the command line. So you can actually script things.
Now I'm sold. That's it.
So yeah, this is like here, this is just creating a pull request on this branch.
Yes.
And it's just done it for me. It's opened it up in a browser. And in fact, I could have put in the title and the description, and it would have actually submitted it all for me. Or in fact, it'll even ask you questions on the CLI so that you can do it kind of as you go. Anyway, so what's changed? Well, so I'm going to just write work in progress here, right? Because it's
right.
That's what we're doing. And the motivation for this is to integrate the core domain functionality we've already built out to the real GitHub API so that we can run this in a production setting, actually making changes to the people in teams in a GitHub org. What kind of change is this? It is a new feature, I guess. And anything particularly we want feedback on? Not right now. So I'm going to kind of leave, because it's a draft, I'm going to just leave some of the boilerplate text in there. So I'll create it as draft. And draft is a signal to me as a maintainer that you don't want feedback on it yet, but you're kind of doing it up on the surface. So we can see the 3 commits that are in here at the moment. So this is the commit that you did last week with Mayu, right?
Right.
So we are missing the latest from main, and I think it should be telling us here at the bottom, this branch has conflicts that must be resolved, right? So this is because we've made changes here, and changes have also been made on main.
Yes.
I'm not sure why these files are clashing, but we can do.
Well, we may have changed some. Yeah.
I don't think we've changed those files on main though.
No, but I think what happened was that we did something in the feature branch, and then I think I didn't do a merge, did I? I just did a commit. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, merge conflict resolution is a thing that you commonly need to do. So if you in open source, we tend to use branches a lot, just because the way people work on open source projects, they tend to work on them solo and asynchronously at different times when they've got time. So we have to do merging quite a lot. So this is a skill we kind of need to learn and practice. So one option we've got is we can do it on the command line with Git. And the other option is we can use this resolve conflicts button in GitHub, which is quite helpful. I quite often start with this one, and if it looks hairy, then I do it locally. So we could try using this and see what we get. Right, okay. So package JSON being in conflict is pretty tricky, because we just need to regenerate package JSON, right? Sorry, package lock. We really just need to regenerate that once we've done whatever it is. Once we've integrated the changes in package JSON, because there's a couple of new libraries that have been added, I guess, like ESLint and Prettier. So we can probably kind of ignore this, or we could just add it all in. It doesn't really matter because we're gonna regenerate it anyway. I mean, like, what is the difference? It's always difficult to diff stuff like this. So ESLint RC has been added, and yeah, I guess right. And we've added OctaKit on our side as well. So we can actually probably just add them all.
Yeah.
Which we can do by just removing both sides of the diff thingy. And then if that's it, 8 conflicts, so we can go next. There's another one. Does it give us a way of choosing what to do?
Can we choose theirs or ours or whatever they're called? No. Oh, that's too bad. It
looks like you do have to just kind of do it manually. So yeah, because actually every time we just want all of them, don't we?
Yeah.
Make this bigger, does it?
Now, I seem to recall there was some controversy. Some folks don't like to commit their lock files.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I can't think in the context of a GitHub action whether it's good or bad practice to commit a lock file. I mean, it's certainly a hassle for us right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we're supplying this thing as a library for other people to use, I guess we want to make sure we get a consistent version of things every time. But I'm not very clear about that. I don't know. I kind of like having a lock file in general, but I'm not sure whether it's good practice in this context or not. It's a good question. Because it would certainly save me the hassle right now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We got any more? Oh, yeah, there's one. Okay, so there's another one. So let's try spinning around them now with the previous and next. It looks like it's not finding any more, so let's mark that as resolved. All right, and this is a bit more interesting. So what's happening here? So we've got a it works test. So the reason this is diffing is because the ESLint Prettier stuff has changed the semicolons. Sorry, changed the quotes, the double quotes to single quotes.
Oh, interesting. That's
we can probably keep ours and then run Prettier on it, is what we need to do, isn't it? So if we just keep ours, and then we'll run Prettier on it in a subsequent commit. So we can mark that as resolved, and that's going to be the same thing here. This is why it's always a good idea to get things like ESLint set up early on, because I had an experience recently of adding something like this to another project, and the diff was huge and just messy. It was very difficult to read. So again, we want to keep ours. I guess as we go, we could change these to to single quotes, but I think we don't need to do that. because we can just run prettier and let it do it for us. So we're going to keep these, I guess. Do you think that looks about right, Blaise?
Yeah. That looks good.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's commit the merge. And then if I pull this down, oops. So what we should find now is that we've got very little diff with main. Just these additions that we've been making of adding new things. Let's do an npm. Let's do rm package JSON package lock and npm install, just to make sure that package lock is perfect. Let's see what's it changed about that now. So it's got a slightly newer version of ESLint, is it? One 1.30. Oh, look, it's just formatting maybe that's different. I don't care. I'm going to add it. And then the other thing we need to do is do npm run format to prettify it. And that's fixed all these semicolons.
Oh, I see. Sure. Okay. Yeah, the quotes. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I keep saying semicolons and I don't mean that, do I? Right. So if we now look at our pull request, files changed, we should have just stuff that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks good.
All right. Well, so we're kind of like finally back in the room and we can start on with where you got to last week. Can you remember what you were puzzling with?
Well, yeah, we're trying to do the authentication.
Yeah.
We're trying to mock the authentication.
So if I run the unit tests, oh no, oh yeah, right. That's. I noticed that when the ESLint pull change went in, it actually removed some of our test scripts that we'd added. So it was, I think it sort of inadvertently undid some stuff in a commit. I think it probably wasn't quite using the latest version of the main branch, so these ones disappeared. So I've made a pull request actually. Maybe we should merge that in as well. This one here just restores it. Do you want to? Oh, you can't hit the button on that.
I have to get my
okay, well, I'd quite like other people to see that, so let's live without it and we'll just run it ourselves for now. So we can just run this. I'll do the trick. There we go. Okay. So it says opt.auth is required, and that's coming from our test on line 7. And we're calling getOctaKit. So that takes a token or some options.
Oh, I see. The options weren't clear, but okay.
So I think we should be able to just do token : but isn't there also a way to do this with an environment variable? Didn't we read about that in?
Well, we can certainly get an environment. Yes, we can use an environment variable, but it's not set necessarily. In other words, no. You have to. It still has to. You have.
But we're going to need one. We're going to need.
Yeah,
one.
we'll need. Yeah.
So, how about what we do?
For example, where it says token the repo path, The pad is the personal
Yeah.
access token?
Yeah, yeah. So how about what we do is we say something like, so what is it? It's the first argument. So let's call that token, and then we can say const token equals process.env.github token.
Right.
And why doesn't it like that? Because it might be a string. So what we do is we then say if not token throw new error please set GitHub token.
Okay.
How's that?
Oh, it's lovely, but I'm surprised that the squiggly line went away. Is that because
that's
we put
TypeScript? So TypeScript is very clever. Because we added a guard here, it knows that by the time we're the other side of this guard, token will always be a string. So here it could be a string or undefined, because you may not have set that environment variable. So when you do process.env.github token, it returns undefined.
Okay.
But once we get to the other side of this if statement, it knows that it must be a string, because we would have exited the function by throwing this error. So that satisfies TypeScript.
Fascinating. Okay.
So we could run the test again and we'll get a slightly better error message.
I think it's just going to tell us, please set GitHub token. Yeah.
That's useful, isn't it? So should we commit that?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's useful because we know where it's failing and why.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of more helpful. We could even add some links. So what would be a helpful link?
Oh, that would be a great idea. Yeah, add a link to the doc. Although, no, that's a different one. Although, to be honest, it wasn't clear to me how to generate a GitHub token, because that's a personal access token, which is a little different. Need. Oh, I wonder why they say one thing or another.
What do you mean one thing or another?
They said in the errors, or in something we were reading a few minutes ago, it said set your pat or GitHub token.
Yeah, well, I wonder whether it reads it from the environment anyway. But I think it's helpful for us to we can play around with this and see what it does. So I'll generate one so we can run with this. Let me just do that locally.
And then you can put it in your config of the repo.
Yeah, well, so this is a whole thing, right? So this is a secret. So we don't want to commit it to Git.
No, but you can put it in the configuration of the Git. Do you know how to do those?
What do you mean?
Oh, they're cool. If you go to here, I'll talk you through it. You don't need to paste it in. I'll just show you where it goes. If you go to the Git web UI, and there's probably a way to do it with GH.
Do you mean GitHub?
GitHub, excuse me.
But what I want to do is set it as an environment variable locally on my machine, so that I can run this test. So I want a way to set it as an environment variable, but not commit it to GitHub.
Well, what I'm saying is that in GitHub, there is a place where you can put secrets. So it's not, you don't commit it in line with the source code. You commit it, you put it somewhere else.
And can you access those secrets when you're running things locally on your machine?
Well, no. Those are meant really for CI, for things that are running in the context of a GitHub action or...
Yeah, so we'll need to do that when we run CI.
Eventually,
we will need to do that. But for now...
Right. Now you can use .env.
Generate a new token. Yep. Yeah, exactly, a .env. Or I use a thing called dir-env.
Oh, that's even better.
So
Your is nice. Yeah.
that involves having a nrc file.
Right.
And I'm going to just do this somewhere else so it's not on the screen.
Right.
Well, what I'm going to put in it is export GitHub token equals, and then blah blah blah, my GitHub token. In fact, let's do that, and I'm going to tell dearenv to allow this directory, so it's going to read that envarc file. So now if I look at the value of my GitHub token environment variable, it has a value. Right. It's not a very good value, but it has one.
That's okay.
So now we should be able to jump past that if statement. So if I run tests, it should find that the environment variable is set. It should instantiate OctaKit. So actually, we're getting somewhere.
We are.
So what we could do is, I wonder if we need to document this or add an example envarc file for other people.
Yes, that would be a very good idea.
Because we're actually not at a point where there's any need for me to generate a real GitHub personal access token just yet. I can do it in a minute, but we haven't got a test that's going to actually need it yet. So yeah, what do you think? Should we? So it calls GitHub adapt to get members of, and then that that's just failing with our error here that we said that we need to implement it. So yeah, I mean, maybe what we could do is start trying to make a real API call here, and because we should have an OctaKit instance, it just won't be properly authenticated. Should we try it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I can quite easily make us a personal access token when we're ready. So what would we need to do? Fire our OctaKit. Do you how about, do you want to drive, Blaise?
Yeah, I'll drive. Yeah, absolutely. This I can do.
Up.
Yeah, this I can do. Yep, absolutely.
So OctaKit API TypeScript. I'm just googling the API. So we've got a new OctaKit. Right, so what we can do is OctaKit. So we're going to get the members of the team, right? So we're going to do OctaKit.rest just REST for the REST API dot. Oh, it keeps correcting it, doesn't it?
Sure, it's REST.
Yeah,
I'm
sure it's REST.
Oh, maybe it's uppercase?
No, it's not. It's lowercase. You could try doing.
There we go.
It's not giving it, but it's not giving you any.
No, it's not auto completing.
So, what's that typed as? So maybe we need to require OctaKit.
Oh, wait a second. Do I have to do OctaKit like this?
Can you change line 1 of this file from OctaKit core to OctaKit rest?
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like we might need to add that library. So let's do npm install at OctaKit rest as well. Okay, nice. Great, that's fixed that. So now let's try back down where we were. Octokit.rest. Ooh. No. Yes. No.
Yeah. I just can't hit dot.
On the dot. What happens when you hit dot?
Oh. Yeah. So what's repos? Search. Get members of.
So what we want is to make a REST API call to.
No, Teams.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether we have to go through organization maybe. Yeah, so try orgs, rest.orgs dot list. I'm just reading through the documentation. List.
Get membership. Oh, list.
Team.
List members.
Yeah. Are you reading some? Oh, are you getting a clue for that? Is it giving you that?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. So list members takes an org. Well, that's interesting. We don't know what our org is actually. Let's hard code it for now. We've got an org called test inactive contributor action. I can just type that in.
Oh, that's right. The org is okay. Test.
Sorry, I just
copy
pasted it for you because I.
Oh, okay, got it.
We just need to clean up that little bit at the beginning there.
There you go.
So that's the org, but then it must take the team as well, surely.
So
filter members. Oh, so this is going to give you all of the members of the organization.
Okay.
And you can filter the members. Okay, that's not very helpful. Per page. List organization memberships. What about teams?
Should we set the org up as a constant at the beginning?
Yeah, I think what I'm discovering from this is that we should be probably taking the org in as a constructor parameter. Because we're always going to operate on the org.
Yeah.
But we can hard code it for now. But maybe why don't we pull it out into a const at least?
Okay.
So this gets all our members, but it doesn't tell us whether they're in a team. Oh, you've got get team membership. What does that get you? Get team.
That's if you have a user, you can find out what teams they're in. Right,
so we may need to do both of those. It seems like back to front, doesn't it? Like you should be able to go it from team. So you can get a team by name. What does it give you if you get a team?
Add or update. Delete any org. Get members list. List members in org. That's list members in org. gosh, the last time I used the GitHub API, I ended up doing a lot of recursive looping.
Well, you can often avoid that these days.
Yeah.
By using the GraphQL API. That's sort of the other alternative. But I'll find the REST API simpler usually.
Sure.
But this is weird.
List discussion comments in org.
If you get a team, if you go and just get a team, you get the number of members. What does members give you?
I unfortunately am going to have to leave in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Because I've got some folks expecting me at the bottom of the hour.
List team members. I found it. So right. So it's so can you do org dot? Oh yeah. How's it going to be worded? Orgs dot members maybe, or team members?
List members.
List members. So what does list members take as arguments? Can you hover list members and get a?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Basically a filter.
It's complicated.
Oh, filter.
Yeah.
I can do a filter. All admin member.
Is there anything else like list team members? Maybe. Because there's definitely an API, a REST API endpoint for org/teams.
Yeah.
/members.
List members. Oh, so let's see. Hang on a second.
If I do this, does that?
Do they have?
No, doesn't exist.
No.
But then what if you do team? No. Doesn't give you anything there, does it? Yeah, we need to learn this API better, don't we? I guess.
Oh, let me see if I can find something here.
List members in org. Right, so it's rest.teams. Try this. Rest.teams.
Yes.
List members in org.
Oh.
But
we need to give it the
wrong
team.
angle. So
Okay.
rest.teams.
Okay.
List members in org, and then that takes two parameters.
The team and the org?
The org, and then the team. So this is
Okay.
the org, and we've been past the team, right?
Yep.
So
have we? Yes, we have been past the team, yes.
yeah. So
comma
team.
Okay. It didn't like that somehow. That's a string. And this is a string.
Oh, this is just formatting now, I think.
Okay.
So that likes it more. Expected 0 to 1 arguments, but got 2. So are they meant to be?
Oh, wait a second.
Named arguments?
List members in org. Oh, I see. It's going to give you the members.
They're supposed to be like this, Blaise. They're supposed to be like org, team, slug.
Oh. Okay.
There. So let's save that in a const.
Okay. Const. Good.
Oh, we can't do a wait. We're going to need to make this an async function.
Well, if it's a const, we don't do. it shouldn't be asynchronous, right? I mean, we just do it.
Yeah, no, I think it will. It will almost certainly need to be asynchronous. Let's just see what happens if we do without, and then what's the result? Tell us what type it is. Yeah, see, it's a promise of a response. So we're going to need to make this thing asynchronous. Okay, so to do change API interface to make these calls, these functions async. They need to return promises. And then what else do we need to do? We need to do parse the result to return the names of the team members. Right, because this is going to probably give us a bunch of objects that have got a load of data in them rather than just the string names, which is all we want. But we're close. I think if I run that, oh yeah, it's not going to like that, is it? So I'll still have to leave it like that. So no time for a retro for 2 weeks in a row, Blaise. Kate's going to be mad at us.
Well, we could do yeah. So I mean, if we stop right now, we could do retro.
All right, you've got time for that?
Yeah.
All right.
So let's go ahead.
Okay, so that this doesn't even compile, but I'm still gonna commit it. I'm gonna commit it. Whoa, I don't want to commit that though. Don't want to commit that. So I'm gonna quickly vim the .git ignore and add env. See, I should have that in my global git ignore. And then I'm gonna stage that.
You could unstage, yeah.
But I'm gonna unstage that. Okay. And we are, what are we doing? We are starting to make our first API call. And I'm doing this with Blaise. Voila. So to the retro board.
Yeah. Okay.
With
so
great taste.
Oh, do you mind? This is a brand new machine. Can you paste me the Miro link?
Yeah. In the Zoom chat.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. You got it?
Yep. Yep. I'm on my way.
Yeah, so Kate's made us a new thing here. So this week it was just Blaise and Matt. What did we do? We merged the new ESLint stuff into our feature branch, and we started trying to make an API call to get team members. All right, should we have a moment of silence to think about our appreciations and puzzles?
Yeah, for some reason it's not letting me.
Oh, you're not into Miro?
Probably, let me try one other thing here.
I have a visiting trailblazer, is that not you?
Oh, that might be. But it's not showing me. Let me try something other than Safari. Oh, Uh, oh, wait, I didn't like that. Oh, that's it. Oh, I guess I'm in. That's strange. Okay.
Can you find your way down to this corner of it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get down there. It's going a little slowly. Maybe I can follow you. Strange that it's so slow.
I can press that. Does that help?
It's just not refreshing the screen. This is Safari, so who knows?
Or do you want to just use the screen share and just tell me your thoughts?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Do I have the screen share open right now? I can't.
Yeah, it's responding super slowly. So okay, so yeah, so I think appreciations. I think I think it was useful to the flexibility of noticing that we had a situation. In other words, noticing that rather than having it just be a setback that I had a brand new machine, we saw it as an opportunity to pretend, what if you've got someone who's never contributed to open source? So it's basically, yeah, let's see exactly.
Yeah.
And the explanation of the the kind of sidebar descriptions of the tools as we went along, I think was useful. For example, I learned something about GH.
Mm-hmm.
I I naively thought of it as, just another attempt of, the corporate overlords to try to hijack an open source project.
Right.
But,
no, not quite.
I think the puzzles in hindsight, the error message was not very helpful. That check developer tools thing was really not very helpful. What they should have said was, something like missing component. I mean, basically, you can't
still don't know what it is.
Sure, if you don't have Visual Studio installed.
Right.
Or VS Code installed.
Yeah.
And, that's, I guess, a Microsoft thing.
Yeah. Shame on them.
Yeah. Oh, I meant to draw a sequence diagram. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's what about you?
Well, I appreciate you for showing up because I was there about to start soloing.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot.
Oh, my pleasure.
And I also appreciate Artie for letting us know she wasn't going to be here. That was really thoughtful.
Yes, that was.
A puzzle I have is that I consistently forget to remind everybody the day I'm supposed to remind everybody the day before that we're meeting today. and
Okay.
I consistently forget to do that. Or like by the time I do it, probably like everybody in Europe is already in bed. And obviously, I guess
Right.
you still get a reminder that morning,
Yeah.
but I still have a puzzle about that. So because I'm sure it doesn't help in terms of like the
Right.
numbers that I'm not making noise about it. So or there is not noise being made. So I think I wonder is would an automatic reminder to @channel a day before the ensemble help? That's one thing I wonder.
Yeah.
So I might try that this week and see if I can, because we have that on the Thursday. So there's a weekly Thursday sort of
the
core
committers meeting.
meeting, and
Yeah.
and there's a Slack message which I configured that goes out 15 minutes before the meeting starts, saying the contributors meeting starting in 15 minutes. Here's the link to the Zoom, just so everybody's got context and to save if anybody having to do that by hand. So I could try automating this one as well. Maybe that'll help a little bit.
Yeah.
In fact, I could even automate the link to the Zoom that happens.
Oh, it's true.
Before the call as well, couldn't I?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I'll try that this week. I was also thinking that. I'm still kind of puzzled about how we reach out and get more people coming to these sessions. I think we probably just need to keep going, holding the space and inviting our friends.
Yes, I think it's good. I think we're most likely to succeed with people who, that we have some kind of credibility with. The alternative is to maybe try a project that's a bit more sexy. I mean, I think the commit bot is useful, but it's somewhat, it's useful. It's not flashy.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I like it because it's helpful for me, but I think a more flashy, something with reports, for example, would be.
What do you mean by reports?
Or reports, like, for example, let's say that we were to overhaul the feature files, right? There was this discussion about maybe having the feature files for the other Cucumber projects to include like Cucumber expressions.
Right. Yeah.
And so we could write up a bunch of feature files, and then we could run Cucumber reports against them as we progress, and show people, the changes and the incremental progress towards the goal. Because that's something that, basically like, okay, now this thing, it works now. Okay, this thing, it works now.
Right. Yeah, you give me a thought. We could run Cucumber reports on this project as well because we're using Cucumber here.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We could use that. Yeah, as part of setting up CI. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean about another project. I'm hesitant to want to abandon this one halfway through.
No. I don't think we should necessarily. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that would be that's a hypothesis that can be explored at some point. So I don't think we should abandon this. No.
Yeah.
But I've got to go. And in fact, the people that I'm going to meet with right now are likely to be interested in this sort of thing. I just don't know if they would have the gumption to show up at a.
Well,
with me, but
they'd
we'll
be very
see.
welcome.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, Blaise. Okay. Well, I'll see you next week, I hope.
Thanks for your time. Absolutely. Yeah, fantastic.
Cheerio.
Cheers.
There's my OBS link.